Hey there, this is Dries. I wanted to record a video today. I've been working on two AI agents, and it's hard to explain in a blog post how it all works. So I figured I would do a quick video. I'm not usually a video person, so this might not be very good, but let's give it a shot. So the two AI agents I wrote are essentially AI agents that show how an AI agent might augment or complement a human being in the future. And in this particular case, I picked two AI agents that maybe do what a digital marketer or a content creator might do. So let's jump into it. The first one is essentially going to analyze a blog post and then improve the summary or meta description, as well as recommend some tags. And I wrote this in Python using a package called Browser-Use. And Browser-Use is relatively new. They make new releases every few days, but it essentially connects a large language model, an LLM like ChatGPT or Claude or even a local model, to your browser on your machine. And so it essentially enables an AI LLM to use the browser on your local machine, which may or may not be a good idea, but it enables these kinds of powerful use cases. So the first agent is just 55 lines of code, so it's actually pretty easy to build, and I only spent a few hours on this. And I won't bore you with all of the details, but I'll walk you through some of the high-level concepts here. So the main thing is that we're creating this agent and we're giving it a task. And the task is really just a prompt. And I tried to write the prompt in a way that I would instruct a human being to do something. If I were to hire a digital marketer and I would ask them to update my website in a particular way, I might use a lot of the same language than what I did here. And I think that's important, and also where the magic is. So I asked the agent to visit my site to find a particular blog post, and this is a State of Drupal post from October 23. And then once it found the post, to write a concise and engaging summary for it. And that summary is shown on the post, but also I use the summary for the meta description of the post as well. And if you don't know what that is, it's essentially a little bit of text that you give to search engines like Google, and then Google will use the meta description for its search results. And so getting that description, that summary right, is important for SEO purposes. And then I'm also asking it to propose 5 relevant tags. And obviously having the right tags helps with the discoverability of your content as well. So 2 things that digital marketers might do. And I'm telling it to use OpenAI's ChatGPT, but you can specify anything else here. Tried it with Claude and it works as well. And then one more thing. So Browser-Use has this notion of a controller with a list of actions, and you can add actions. So I added an action. The action is called done with task, and the LLM will automatically figure out when to call this action and if to call this action. It's not guaranteed, and it will do that based on this string as well as the function name done. But what I wanted to tell you is that in my particular case, I wanted to write the proposed summary as well as the proposed topics to a file, which is essentially what this action does. And the reason I want to write these things to file is because I want to review them before I ask the second agent to essentially make those changes to my website. Now, you can obviously do all of this in a single script, but I like the idea of having a human in the loop. Now, obviously, editing a single post is maybe a little bit specific. I think in practice, you might ask it to edit all of your posts or all of your presentations or whatever. But for the purposes of this demo, I wanted to limit it to one post so it doesn't run forever. And then maybe real quick, this is the post that I'm asking it to find. It's actually a special keynote in the sense that I did something that I don't usually do. I did a little bit of storytelling in this keynote, where I created this character that basically wanders around in a world and learns things. And in the process, it discovers that we need to invest in improving the user experience of Drupal, and we have to do things like improve the next generation page builder, which becomes experience builder in Drupal. It also learns about the importance of the open web and keeping the web open. And so we go into launching the Drupal Association Open Web Manifesto. And finally, we also talk about the importance of marketing. Anyway, just to give you an idea, the summary that I have today is shown here. And that's the summary that we want to improve, which shouldn't be too hard. And then if I scroll back to the bottom of the page, you can see some of the tags that I gave it. But let's see what the AI agent proposes as additional tags. So with that, I'm going to close this and I'm going to launch the first agent, which is analyze post. And that's the script that I just showed you. So when I launch it, you'll start seeing debug output in the terminal. But very quickly, we launch a browser window. And then the agent is going to navigate to my website, and you can see it very quickly develops an understanding of everything that's going on my website. We're on the front page now, so we'll need to find the blog post, which is not on the front page. I've run this a few times and immediately it finds the blog link. And now either it starts scrolling or sometimes it uses the search feature that you can see in the middle of the page. Actually, and yet another time it decided to use Google search. So it's really not super deterministic, but it almost always finds the blog post. And so in this case, it appears like we're scrolling, which is fine. I think it actually scrolled maybe too far now. And you can kind of see all of that here in the debug output. So you can see it failed, and then it sets another goal, like scroll down more, and it failed. And eventually it will find it, I hope. And when it finds it, yeah, here we go. It's now starting to do Google search. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. Usually it doesn't have to use Google, but this time I guess it did. But anyhow, it found it, just like maybe a human would have found it. And now it needs to extract the contents, create a summary, propose tags. And so it does that, and then it closes. You can see that that was successful. And if you actually look at the output, yeah, you can kind of see, all the things that it does, like for example, yeah, here it went to Google, but anyhow, it finds it, and then it says my next goal is to extract the main content. It dumped all of the content and then created a summary. So it should have created this file that I asked it to create. And so when I open it, you can see it puts in the URL, but also proposes a summary and some topics. So let's see, Drupal's 2023 keynote reimagines growth through community collaboration, advocating for an open web and strategic marketing. I think it's pretty good. I may want to say maybe DrupalCon Europe, because I do multiple keynotes each year, but only one in Europe. So DrupalCon Europe's 2023 keynote. All right, I think that's good. Proposed topics: Drupal, open web, automatic updates, marketing. I think I could add one experience builder. Yeah, I think that's good. So this is an example of why you might want a human in the loop, but even without these edits, I think the summary was better than what I have, and it added some accurate tags as well. So next, I essentially need to update this post, and so I have a second agent for that. It's basically 77 lines of code, also super easy, I think. The prompt is a little bit longer because the script is a little bit more complex, but I'm asking it to visit my site and log in with credentials. So I'm going to give it my username and password, which I might not recommend. You probably want to create a separate user account, but again, for demonstration purposes, I think it works. And by the way, I had to create a separate action in the controller, get login credentials, which essentially gets my username and password. And I changed my password for the demo. Gets my username and password from the environment variables. And yeah, we'll be able to log in. And then I'm telling it to navigate to the URL that you saw in the file, this one. and essentially replace the summary with the summary in the file, and add the topics in the file. Now, for the topics, Drupal does some pretty nice UX things, I think. But like, for example, as you start entering a topic, it will show a drop down with topics that match. And then you can actually select by clicking. You can select one of the suggested topics. And so I added a little bit of text here to help the agent. So things like when, Drupal will display a drop down with existing topics, and I want you to find the correct one that matches a proposed topic or a more relevant one. And the idea is that we don't want to create duplicate topics or topics that are almost the same. So I'm just trying to tell the agent to do all of that. And then after you entered the summary and the topics, hit save. And then after saving, verify that everything works. So that is it. So I think we can run it. Python, and it was called update post. Let's go. All right, so same thing, it will open a browser and start. So it goes to the login page, and let's see if it finds the action that I gave. Usually it does, but not always. And yeah, it found my username, and then it picked my password from my environment variable, and it's logged in. And so now I'm telling it to go to the page. But again, I didn't tell it to click edit or how to find the edit page. So it's gonna have to figure out how to go from here to the edit form, which it finds the edit button and decides to try it, and it's right. And here you can see the old summary, 19, and it replaces the summary with the new summary. And here's, you see the drop downs and the suggestions, and so it's gonna have to add a bunch of topics. And you can see that each topic needs to go in its own text field. And that in order to make this work, it's going to have to click a button at, I think it's called add new text field or something, or add new topic. And that's going to be necessary. Add another item, you can see it there. So it will have to learn how to click that in order to add all of the topics. You can see it added automatic updates, and it didn't work, and now it's trying the button, and it is going to work, and it will add all the topics. And then hit save, and yeah, then it updated essentially my blog post. And I think it's very powerful and mind-blowing that this is now possible. At the same time, there are inefficiencies like going to Google and trying things and trying again and those kinds of things. But it does work, and it is pretty simple, and it's not hard to imagine how you can go from these two little scripts, 120 lines of code, to something that's a little bit more polished with a UI. And it's not hard to imagine how this might impact, content creators and digital marketers, and how some of these simple tasks, like the ones that I've showed you, will be replaced by AI agents. So here we go. It made the changes, and you can actually see the summary there being updated, and that's it. Task completed successfully. That was my demo, and all of that in just a few hours of work. Thanks for watching.